Hidden deep in the heart of Brunei, behind locked gates and sealed garages, lies a car collection so vast, so extraordinary, that it could make any billionaire blush. Thousands, and I mean thousands of cars that are valued at over 5 billion, yes, with a B, $billion. But this secret stash is now abandoned and decaying. Even those that haven't been driven a single mile are turning into rust. So, who owns this collection, and why are these cars wasting away into obscurity? Well, like, subscribe, and let's start out with this guy, Sultan of Brunei. Yes, the 29th Sultan of Brunei reigns over one of the wealthiest nations in the world. With a population of just 400,000, this tiny Southeast Asian country has some of the richest oil and gas reserves globally. And all that black gold has, for decades, funneled billions of dollars directly into the pockets of the royal family. During the 1980s, the global impact of the Sultan reached a peak that only a few people in history will ever reach. He held the title of the world's richest man with a net worth of over 40 billion. Take that, Elon. Now, although the Sultan was the top guy, it didn't stop the rest of the family from taking full advantage of that sweet, sweet dough. For example, his younger brother, Prince Geoffrey, earned the nickname the Playboy Prince. Why, you ask? Well, if you have to ask, you can't afford it, because if the Sultan represents the discipline and duty of Brunei, Geoffrey is the polar opposite. Yeah, a man driven by the unfettered lust for the finest things this earth has ever offered. And I mean, when you essentially have a real-life infinite amount of money at your disposal, why wouldn't you? He owned private jets, threw lavish parties attended by Hollywood's elite, and commissioned a $17 million stadium just to celebrate the Sultan's 50th birthday. I want this guy as a brother, complete with a private performance by Michael Jackson, literally the most famous person on the planet at the time. But his most infamous purchase included a $7 million jewel-encrusted watch featuring animated scenes of, let's just say, saucy entertainment. Yeah, and let's not forget the yachts that he named Tits, with lifeboats named Nipple 1 and Nipple 2. Yeah, subtle, I guess. But subtle was not his strong suit. And oh, that's just Geoffrey. The rest of the family, of course, shared the same bonkers lifestyle. Their place was adorned with gold, fine art, and rare artifacts. The Sultan's primary residence, the Istana Nurul Iman, is the largest residential palace in the world, with 1,788 rooms, 257 bathrooms. It's a lot of places to take a shit. And 5 swimming pools adorned with golden domes and marble floors. The family's excess also extended to private jets outfitted with gold sinks, rare jewelry collections, and even a custom-made Airbus. And then there are the cars. Throughout the 80s, 90s, and on, Prince Geoffrey, along with the Sultan, purchased thousands of cars, all only the finest and often in bulk. This ain't Temu, folks. This is real life. And Geoffrey and the Sultan would not only just special order a supercar from the ultra-exclusive brand, nah, that's for normies. These two would order literally fleets of ultra-rare luxury sports and supercars, even a couple of hypercars, many of which were one-off models designed and built specifically for the royal family. And I know that you're dying just like me to see the collection, and so, well, let's go. Let's start with the Bugattis, plural. Yes, since no conversation about ridiculous cars is complete without mentioning Bugatti, let's start there. Among the collection's Bugattis are the EB110 Supersport, a quad-turbocharged masterpiece capable of exceeding 210 miles per. The Sultan's EB110s include chassis 39003, finished in striking yellow, and chassis 39001. Sounds like the Squid Games. The first ever EB110 Supersport produced, period. If you want to see our in-depth video on that car, well, you can click up here. Now, more recently, he's added the Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport to his treasure trove and possibly more. Now, let's go on to the Bentleys, because more bees, shall we? The Sultan's love for Bentley is legendary. His collection includes rare gems like the Bentley Dominator, a $4.6 million SUV commissioned decades before the Bentayga ever hit the market. Based on the Range Rover chassis, only 6 were ever made, exclusively for Brunei. Other standouts include the Continental R Superfast and the Java Wagon, with its twin-turbo V8 engine and a little cup of espresso. These bespoke creations, many designed specifically for the Sultan, are valued at over 80 mil. Now Porsches, my fave. Yes, I knew that they would have some good taste. The Sultan owns over 50 Porsche 928s, which was Porsche's first V8 powered road car ever, as well as several 911s, including a 964 and an ultra rare X88 package. But one of the crown jewels amongst the Porsches is the dour 962 Le Mans, a road-going racer of which only 13 were ever made. The Sultan reportedly owns of them. Yes. Then you have the Porsche 959, which is crazy when you remember that not only 350 were made worldwide, and this dude owns more than one. And of course, the iconic Carrera GT is also part of the fleet because, well, why not? Now, let's move on to Rolls-Royce, because there's no royal collection when there is no Rolls-Royce, and luckily for the Sultan, he had an absolute shit ton. The Sultan holds the Guinness Book of World Record for the largest private Rolls-Royce collection in the world, with over 600 unique models. Among them is the infamous 24-karat plated silver Spur 2, valued at $14 million, used during the Sultan's wedding. Other masterpieces include the Phantom 6, once owned by the British monarchy, and the Star of India, a 1934 Phantom 2 that fetched $14 million at auction. And then we can move on to the McLarens, because if that wasn't batshit enough for you, let's talk about them. Yes, the Sultan reportedly owns 10 McLaren F1s, including one of 3 ultra-rare long-tail variants. The garage is also rumored to house multiple F1 LMs, my absolute favorite, because it is a stripped-down, track-focused variant of the F1, and they are worth tens of millions of dollars today. Like multiple tens of millions. And remember, folks, there's only 106 McLaren F1s ever built, and the Sultan owns like pretty much 10% of the entire catalog. So let's talk about Ferrari, shall we? Yes, if there's anything that could top the McLarens, it would be the Sultan's Ferraris. Among the highlights is the F50 Bolide, a car that blends F1 engineering with a redesigned body. Then there's the Testarossa F90 Special, and that takes the iconic supercar and gives it a custom Pininfarina touch. And don't forget the F40s. Yeah, plural. They have several F40s in unique colors like emerald green and white, which are not found on any other F40 in the world. Plus, the Sultan's F40s were converted to right-hand drive, making them somehow even more rare. Then there is the stunning Ferrari 456 GT Venice Cabriolet, a one-off creation with the Mercedes SL soft top, and a Ferrari 456 wagon, showcasing the Sultan's penchant for grocery shopping. IDK, but it's sick AF. And of course, there are literally thousands of others. There are other standouts like the BMW Nazca M12, a concept car turned reality by the Sultan, or how about the Mercedes S73T AMG wagon, a family car with a 7.3-liter V12 that makes 550 horses. There's even an insanely rare Koenigsegg CXXR that was designed to run on biofuels and makes over 1,000 horsepower while saving the planet at the same time. I mean, all in all, there are reportedly over 7,000 individual cars in the Royal Collection, and likely a bunch more that have never been seen or accounted for by the public. Remember, this is a private collection. Most of this information has been figured out through investigative journalism and image leaks from the few that have witnessed it in person. And Google Earth. You can never get around Google Earth. Ask me how I know. But even with all that ridiculousness and excess of amazing cars and billions of dollars spent, it's all kind of hit a wall of 1997. You see, the Asian financial crisis of 1997 hit Brunei hard. Oil prices down the toilet, taking with them a significant chunk of the royal family's wealth. While the Sultan and Prince Jeffrey continued their lavish spending, the cracks in their fortune began to show and the collection slowly became an afterthought. Reports from the early 2000s revealed heartbreaking scenes from Brunei's car garages. Exotic cars, many with 0 miles on the odometer, sat abandoned, their paint peeling, leather interior consumed by mold, and engines just rusting away into nothing. What was once a treasure trove of automotive art had turned into a graveyard. Prince Jeffrey's financial mismanagement did not help at all. That playboy got played down. By the early 2000s, he faced accusations of embezzling billions from Brunei's treasury, leading to legal battles and the liquidation of some assets. Still, many cars from the collection remain hidden, locked away, and just forgotten about. The Sultan of Brunei's car collection isn't just a story about wealth, it's a cautionary tale about excess that I can't relate to. These cars, symbols of engineering genius and human creativity, were meant to be driven and appreciated and shared with the world, and instead, they become relics of oversized bank accounts locked away from the roads that we were built to be conquered. It raises the big old question mark. If these cars continue to rot into obscurity for another couple of decades, will they all just become worthless pieces of metal and carbon? Will there come a point where these unfathomably special and valuable cars become too withered to ever witness their first miles on the road decades after they left the factory? It's kind of a mind fuck, huh? Well, either way, the story of the Sultan of Brunei's car collection is endlessly fascinating and at a $5 billion secret that continues to enthrall and frustrate car enthusiasts around the world. I said that way too many times in this video. So, what do you think? Should the Sultan's collection be restored? And was it worth it for these cars to be built and known to the world even if they might never be touched again? I'm curious about your thoughts, so let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this vid, well, please like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and you will love this video up here, or whatever YouTube recommends you watch next down here. I'm Brad, this is Ideal. We'll see you next week, and promise me one thing, keep living the ideal lifestyle.